What is up, everybody? Get myself more on the screen here. I'm gonna pull up the stream and the chat on my phone. Maybe I can pull it up on this other machine here. Let's see what we got. Hey, Elvira. It's for another project that we're working on. Hey, Elvira. It's for another project that we're working on. Looks like my picking up a little bit of the desktop fan there. Sorry about that. Still getting the stream just kind of figured out. And still chewing my dinner. Sorry about that. 10 o'clock came before I realized. So how's everybody doing today? What's good? Test it out in the chat. Just confirm everything is good to go. If you're in the stream and you can hear me okay, and picture looks okay, let me know in the chat if you can. That way I'll know that the audio and everything's kind of figured out. I had the desktop audio routed so I could run a countdown, but I have to get my own countdown made. Back in the day, I used to stream on a platform called Twitch, which is not even all that big anymore, I guess. So I had that all dialed in, but this one I'm just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, which is kind of better that way anyway. I mean, let's see, where do we begin? The reason I wanted to jump on tonight and kind of just world premiere this thing is it's a monumentous occasion, actually. Over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, my wife and I, mostly my wife, have been putting together a brand new website, and it's finally ready in an early form. There's a lot more to come, but it's at a level that we're proud of, and we thought it should be made live, so why not tonight? Lots changed in the way that we approach our business in the last 12 months, and even more so in the last 6 months. And that, I think, is one of the strong suits, excuse me, of having been a business person and having lived that life in my previous career, where these things kind of like have a natural life cycle. And this is definitely an evolutionary step in the business, in our business's life. Let me just take a moment and drop a note on Instagram, etc., that we're live. And give me just 1 second to put that together. Ooh, there's a picture of dinner, of course. Smile for the camera. That looks good. Let's see what we'll do. Do a little Joy Division to accompany. We are live on YouTube, YouTube, which is under channel name Afterlife Studios Official. Afterlife Studios. That's a whole. Mm-hmm. All right, good deal. That'll get posted in a second. All right, sweet. All right, that's looking good. All right, what's up? Thanks for joining in. If you can hear me clearly and the picture looks okay, let me know in the chat just that everything is good to go. Tonight's going to be a fun night. It's a big night for us. We. Thanks for joining in. Oh, I'll turn my volume down. So it's a big night for us. It's just, I guess it's really just a Tuesday, but that's when big things happen, when you least expect it. And we wanted to take a time and just jump on with our friends here on YouTube and walk everybody through our brand spanking new website. We had a website that was kind of like just a freebie. It was provided by the service that we use to take our credit cards, etc. And it wasn't great. It was barely even good, but this is tremendous. This is what a website should be, and we're super proud of it, and we're happy to bring it here and show it to everybody. If you're watching this live, feel free to jump in the comments. If you're watching this on playback, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. You can jump on the site yourself and test it out for us. We would appreciate that. If you have any comments or experience any difficulty, let us know any way that you can, either in the comments here or on social. I'll be posting some follow-ups on Instagram and Facebook, etc. And it'll be a lot of fun. We wanted to bring you guys an experience that was more than just an e-commerce kind of representation. So this website features my full portfolio of work as best we can, up to date. We gathered around 75 different works and compiled them all here in a digital form so you can see what we've been up to over the past year and a half. And then there is an e-commerce shop area where you'll be able to purchase prints and stickers and lots of things to come. At the moment it's just launching with prints, but there's a wealth of prints listed there which are available immediately. There's a small about section and there's a contact area, and there will be a blog coming as well where you'll see a lot of this digital content. My video content is going to transition to living over there as opposed to living on social platforms like Instagram and Facebook entirely. So we encourage you to check it out and check back and let us know what you think. This is going to be a living, breathing thing. It's a big investment of time and energy and some financially as well. So look for us to be maximizing on this platform. We're so excited. It looks so good. So without any further ado, welcome to the Afterlife Studios homepage. It's pretty amazing. So this is designed and refined by my wife Melissa. She's incredibly talented, a graphic and production artist, and she's really taken the extra steps to make sure that everything looks as best it can, from the prints themselves to the digital portfolio and basically front to back on the entire website. We chose to have the landing page be the portfolio because when we started this project, we were just so blown away by the amount of work that's been created since we got started on this journey, and seeing it all kind of in one place has been a very gratifying experience. This is, since I have it kind of half screened, it is a responsive design, so it flexes based on the resolution and scale. So what you're seeing here on the pane might not be exactly what you see when you navigate to the site, and it's at full wide resolution. So we'll start at the about. We feel like it's important. A big focus for us this year is going to be actually telling the story, the why, afterlife, where we come from, and kind of like where we see this whole project headed. And we took a little bit of extra time to come up with this bio and this mission statement, really sharpening the pencil and trying to make it as concise and accurate as we can. So I'll just go ahead and read through it. The About Afterlife Studios, artistic, eclectic, upcycling, and recycling. That's really us in a nutshell. Eclectic is a word that I was introduced to in my high school days, and it just kind of always stuck. I mean, everything from my hair to my fashion sense to my music and ultimately the art. Eclectic, I think, is the best word to describe it. So after a 25-year career in marketing and designing toys around the world, Mike is returning to his roots as a painter. So yeah, true story. I kind of like shanghaied my way into a performing arts school for high school, and I was accepted. You had to audition to get into the school. I was basically trying to follow the footprints of my friends and not get separated from them. But they were mostly very talented musicians and singers and things like that, dancers, and the only thing that I could really do with any talent was draw like band logos and things on my Trapper Keepers, etc. But before I stepped into adulthood, I had a very high falsetto singing voice. I could do things like, King Diamond or some of these artists that walked that kind of like very high register. So I auditioned for the musical theater program, and I was accepted under that, and it kind of fell apart. But I was given a second chance when I jumped into the visual arts, and my teacher, who was my teacher throughout my high school education, her name is Janet Siegel Rogers, saw something in me and invested some extra time in getting me away from drawing cartoons and things that, like comic books and stuff, and had me focus on painting and fine art. And I'm very grateful for that because of her investment of time and passion. At the end of my high school career, I received a full scholarship to a fine art college in Miami. So returning to my roots as a painter is definitely where I'm at right now. Um, he, along with his talented wife, Melissa, founded Afterlife Studios, uh, not only to serve as a creative outlet, but to breathe new life into otherwise would be considered waste, which is extremely important to us. Join us in our journey of upcycling, recycling, saving unique vintage items from the past and certain death, aka the landfill. This is all facts. So, when I was still in high school, there was a South Florida initiative called a recycling initiative. Florida at the time was very early to adopt recycling as a county-wide, statewide initiative. And this is in 1992 or 1993, and they had like a contest to design some mascots and characters and stuff, and some of my work won in that contest. So my roots in recycling goes all the way back into the early 90s. A fun story. And when I got my scholarship into college, my specialty in the fine arts was actually creating art from found objects. So recycling again kind of entered into my artistic vision, and it's something that was very not avant-garde at the time, but it was, I guess you could say it was viral at the time. I remember one time, for instance, I lived in a really bad area in Miami called Overtown, which was famous at that time for some race related riots and things that were happening there in the 90s. When I first moved in, I had the local police tell me, listen, buddy, don't even stop at the intersections. Just get where you're going. We all kind of know who you are, and don't hang out around here. So one day I was looking, kind of scavenging for some pieces to create art from, and I was into grunge at the time. I think I like flannels and all that combat boots and stuff, and some of the homeless people sort of adopted me because they thought I was also homeless, and they would help me find interesting things, and they had a voice in creating my art. Oh, good. Thanks, Frank, for letting me know. It's sounding good. I appreciate that. I have really only a couple meters here to judge, so that means a lot in the integrity of the stream. So thank you. So yeah, it was really an interesting time in my life, and I was surrounded by upcycling, which was, I don't think it was even a word back then. So now here I am today. I spent my 20s and 30s and most of my 40s creating things that created waste, and that's not something that I'm very proud of. A lot of my work was taken from the 2 dimension and brought into the 3 dimension, and in that process created all kinds of bad chemicals, and was shipped around the world, and created carbon emissions and all that kind of stuff. So it's extremely important to me and to my wife Melissa to upcycle and recycle as much as we can. You'll see, not only in my art but in my everyday life, just about everything I have is upcycled or recycled, including my clothes. So that's that little snippet, and I'm very proud of how succinct it is. It's very easy when you're trying to create an about statement or a mission statement to make it way wordier than it needs to be. All these images over here are curated by my wife, and a lot of these come from our setups at our favorite market, our favorite local market, the Weirdo Market at Paper Moon Studios. If you've been on my stream before, you've probably heard me gas them up as much as I can. We're huge fans. They're tremendous to us, and it should be featured. You know, it's one of the first markets that we did here. It's definitely where we feel home, and it's when we're showing people what we do, we feel like it's the perfect kind of handshake. All right, so the about for myself, which is difficult for me. I'm not very astute at talking about myself or marketing myself, but it's all going to change this year. So Mike is a lifelong artist and musician. From a young age, he had an affinity for breathing life back into most anything he could find that was discarded. He always had a knack for finding hidden beauty in everyone else's unwanted objects. In high school, Mike embraced all aspects of the arts, both graphic and fine. He earned full scholarship to a prestigious Miami fine arts school based on his work in transforming found objects into art. So that's pretty much what I just highlighted. I guess it's a natural transition from the Afterlife Studios about into the personal about, and you can really see how connected to my DNA this type of work is, and I hope that it comes through in the work itself. So I'll be showing you guys some original works here tonight, and we'll flip through the digital portfolio too. And there's quite a bit of meat on the bone. Down here you have the social links. Not sure if I'm showing my cursor or not, but at the page bottom you can see all the usual suspects, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And I really love the look of this page. I think that the accent color and the black and white is both high contrast, but not invasive and not extreme, but very classy. I really enjoy it. So I'll jump over to the far right, and there's just a simple contact form. This goes directly to my inbox. You can email directly at the email address here, or you can fill out this really great form and let us know what you think. Not all of the fields are required. You can see phone number is optional, but everything else with an asterisk is required. And if you have some time, if you're on the website, it would be nice if you just dropped us a note. It would give us the ability to kind of test this function and see how it goes. So here's a test for me. All right. Let's send it. Oh, a subject. I guess I'll put test there too. All right, let's see how that goes. All right, so the fun stuff. Here is the portfolio page. Lovely, lovely. This is not us up here at the top. This is just some really great stock imagery that Melissa found. She really has a great eye and cunning for finding fantastic stock imagery. And she dialed in this great sweeping paintbrush here that actually has the same or reminiscent color of the design. So again, beautifully executed stuff. And I'll roll down into the work itself. So it's a responsive design, so that means it works similarly on mobile as it does on desktop. Of course, we understand that most people view the web on their phone these days. That's just the way of the world. So these items will kind of be like single stacked when it gets to that mobile view. And then this is all curated, so you can click into each image, and then you can go left and right and cycle through images there, or you can X out and you can go to seek any image that you might by scrolling up and down through the site. Has a really nice kind of subtle rollover state that zooms into the art. So you can see like here on Jesus Kurt, for instance, and then I'll switch back over to Vampira or Robert Smith up here or Susie Sue. Um, so it's really fun to just kind of like do that. It doesn't quite do that on mobile because you're tapping, etc. But we'll keep on scrolling down and I'll get to the bottom after a minute. Like I said, we've compiled 75 different pieces here, and you can really get a hint of how much there is that's been done. Um, of course, a lot of these original works are sold at this point, and the original works in collection have never been assembled. So this is the first place where you can see all of the work in its entirety, and that's very thrilling. That's very thrilling for me. As the artist, once you complete the piece and it gets framed and then it's on display, it's a tremendous feeling when it sells and it goes to a home where somebody's going to hang it and enjoy it or share it, maybe even gift it to somebody who will enjoy it after that. But once it leaves my hands, it becomes part of my psyche, part of my memory, and if you're on the stream and you're an owner of any of these works, I always love to see ultimately where they end up, how they land, what wall they're displayed on, etc. So if you're willing to share, I'm all eyes and ears. I would love to see that. And if it's something that you'd be willing for me to share on my social media, that would be tremendous as well. But of course, totally up to the customer. So I mean, we can keep going and going, and it just almost never ends. And I'll call out a couple pieces that are special and noteworthy. I could talk to you all night about each one of these. They all have a very special place in my heart. And one thing that we were noting, Melissa and I together, when we were taking in the depth of the site was that, some of these things, they're from not so long ago, but some of the earliest works. It's like, where are they now? We're really curious about, how they're hung and who's the owner. Some of them have been bought by friends, but some of my work has been bought by complete strangers at that time. When Melissa was curating the website, she arranged through no lack of effort all of the images into kind of parody or collections within the ultimate body of work. So you can see here like Robert Smith and Susie Sue are definitely related in many ways, and they're displayed together. This is kind of like a before and after of sorts with Posty here, and it reminds me very much of the music video being when the confetti starts to fall. So all these, even within the website itself, there's these little, not Easter eggs, but there's these little notes of storytelling that we think are just cool and kitschy, and will hopefully keep people on the website and browsing the work. This is a very recent piece. This is something that I did for my sister, who was recently diagnosed with cancer, and I haven't been able to visit her in person, but this piece is on its way to her at the moment, and it should get there possibly tomorrow, maybe by Thursday at the latest. And I just really am extremely proud of this work. When we were chatting on text message, and I was like, man, sis, I really want to paint you something. what would you like to see? What would make you happy? And she was like, well, Iggy, you should do Iggy, or maybe some like impressionist flowers. And I wasn't expecting either of those, and I guess maybe I could have or should have, because she's a floral designer. She's been a floral designer my entire life. I actually had a few at different times jobs that were co-related to hers. So we worked in Winn-Dixie together, and she was the florist there in Margate in South Florida. And I started as a bagger and kind of plucked around, became a register, cashier, and then eventually I ended up helping her quite a bit in the florist there, which was really neat. And then again later, she gave me a part-time job as a floral designer alongside of her when she was managing a store in our local mall called Potted Earth. So when she asked for that, I was like, man, that really rises to the top. But my work isn't necessarily impressionist, or at least it's not floral in any way. But a lot of the paint strokes have become very impressionist recently. So Iggy was something that when she said it kind of tickled me. So back in my previous life in Florida, I grew up in bands, and I was in a thrash band that had the fortunate experience of, some limited success in the area, like locally. We partnered with this really great club called the Culture Room, and we were opening for a band that we all loved called Shadows Fall. And it was one of those nights where we just really gave it our entire best, our 150%. And I played the bass and I did some of the screaming, etc. And when I was coming down off the stage at the completion of our set, there's this weird looking dude leaning against the bar, kind of like this, with a leather jacket on, with no shirt. And for some reason, he just kind of like jumped forward and stuck his hand out to me, and he goes, "Hey, my name's Iggy Pop." And he like put his arm around me and started talking to me. So he was like, "Yeah, I'm putting together this band. I'd really like to jam with you. I'd really like to maybe have you be a part of this." And we became friends at that time. I had the benefit and the experience of going out to dinner with him and chatting one-on-one, visiting his home, and playing some music. After that, his band came in. They all flew in to watch me play, and that night just wasn't the same. It wasn't as great. We were headlining that night, and maybe I tried too hard. I don't know, but I didn't get the job. But I was happy, and I had a few more experiences with him. So the funny thing is, we had that one meeting, that first meeting where he introduced himself, and I gave him my phone number on like a bar napkin. And it was one of those things where who knows if he was ever going to really call. You get your number, you give your number, you're at a bar or whatever. You would think he might not have even had pockets. I don't know, but sure as hell, I got home and I was telling everybody in my family the story, and he called. And my sister, who brought this all up, who this painting is for, answered the phone, and she's a generation older than I am, and much more on his level of musical taste. And I still have the piece of paper where she wrote his phone number, and it said Iggy, and I have it in a frame somewhere here. So what a wild story. And to be quite honest, I think that this is probably my best painting yet. So I did this in a very impressionist style. I let the brush strokes really speak to the form a lot more than dialing this in like a comic book style drawing. Iggy himself, he has such a unique anatomy that I let it stay loose. And I think that I had this painting in kind of a box. I have a box over here that I'll be able to show you guys in a little bit. And the two things just kind of married. And I love this. I love this image. It reminds me of my sister there in the background gathering flowers, and here he is, the alien, the visitor, or whatever you would call it, uh, making an appearance in this beautiful garden. I love how his gnarled features and his kind of like really dysmorphic anatomy are in contrast to the beautiful flowers and things that are represented there in the garden. And I let my signature be really loose on this one too, and I think it's really working. Um, so I assume, this of course is not for sale. The original is already on its way to her walls, and I hope it reaches there safely. And if you're watching this, Liz, I love you to death. You're gonna get through this, and you have me, and you have Melissa, and you have our families here. So this is the spare room. If you ever want to come through and spend some time here, it's an open invite. Okay, we love you. All right, well, let's keep on going down. There's some babes. This is another one that has some very loose gestural brush strokes, but again, I think it really captures the anatomy. This, of course, is Betty Page in her famous leopard bikini, and this one too is also spoken for at the moment. So both of these works will be available eventually as prints. I think we're doing 5x7s and 8x10s, and easily kind of snackable sizes that are easy to find frames for. And the production and coloring and everything, color management, will all be done by one of the greatest production artists in the world, my wife Melissa. So you can count on it to look almost identical to the original work, which is tremendous. I mean, an artist can't ask for a better situation than that. But yeah, she turned out gorgeously. I love the softness of the brush strokes and things. I think it goes into this kind of washed out background that you have here that looks like, I don't know, Tuscany or some far flung tropical place. I think it's also a little cheeky that she's like sitting on the wall and sunning herself, and you have this beautiful balcony there in the background. So who knows what beau lives within there, but I think it turned out tremendously, and it's very sexy. So loving that one so far. I mean, of course, there's a lot of horror represented here. That's when we really started Afterlife horror, and the spooky season was a huge part of the DNA of what we were up to. But we're feeling that this is more of a year-round thing, and we're introducing a lot more pop culture influence into the mix. A little bit of both. So you can see there's some Mothman pieces. This is a great piece right here. This is another one that's sold. It's very kind of impressionistic, but Mothman definitely had a moment in 2023 and in 2024, and hopefully he continues this kind of like meteoric rise in popularity, because he's really fun to render and paint. He can be both kind of like slick and cartoony. This Mothman has a little bit of an anime styling to him. I think this is in Central Park, and it's in the rain, so he has his little gothic umbrella, and he's inviting you to maybe sit down and chat and get rained on a little bit. Like, who doesn't love the rain, right? You can see up here there's a little bit of functionality. So all the way up at the top of the site, you have the ability to log in and create a profile. You can do the easy way and sign up with Google or Facebook, which would be really nice because then sharing the work is quite easy. And I would encourage everybody to do that because then you can kind of select favorites and things, and of course you'll get to know us a little bit more because we might reach out, we might have special offers. If you were interested in things like getting a coupon code or savings down the road, those are all going to be possible. So by sharing a little bit of information, we promise that you'll get a ton of value in return. This is a really neat painting. This is Fluffy from Creepshow, a monster designed by a legend in the field, Rick Baker, and one of my favorite Creepshow segments out of both Creepshow 1 and Creepshow 2. It's called The Crate. And The Crate is a story of a monster that lives in a crate under some stairs, and he's discovered by an archaeologist and brought to this university, and then kind of like starts killing people, and then you find out that the archaeologist is somewhat feeding people to it, or like his loudmouth wife, who's played by Adrienne Barbeau in the movie, who's somebody I would love to add to one of my paintings. I'll have to write that down. Frank says the colors do look very good together. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. You know, that's one of those things where it goes into the paint, but then to get it reproduced into the digital look or into the physical prints is all at the hands of my lovely wife. So she has a tremendous talent for that. In this piece, it's divided right down the middle. In Creepshow, they use a lot of these high contrast lighting scapes to drive this visual style. It's very comic book in its form. So I tried to do this one kind of split down that fine line. It reminds me a little bit of the old 3D classes and stuff, but if you're watching the movie or if you see this piece and you want to go back and watch the movie, absolutely do so. It's timeless. This is one piece that we actually reproduced into some bumper stickers, and I still have a few left. We'll be bringing those to our next market in Easley, which is going to be at the Witch's Broom Market, and it's going to be such a great time. Oh my god, we're just like freaking out. We're so excited to get back out and be with our people and bring a bunch of new and special work with us. So if you're there, ask us. You'll be able to sweep up some of these bumper stickers, and they turned out tremendously. Super proud of them. Let's see, let's roll down a little bit more. Let's see what's like way down here. Oh, here's some of the real early stuff. These two are from a series that I did. Again, I guess impressionism is a big, not as a big influence of mine, but the Impressionists are very popular, I guess you could say, in the mainstream. So a lot of the source art, the source paintings and things that I find come from that school. And I generally try to marry the style that I'm painting in to the style of the artwork that you see that's kind of like in the original work. Like this is a Star Wars influenced, it's called an AT-AT Walker, for those of you that have been living under a rock for 50 years. No, this was I don't know why this was like an architectural rendering of a strip mall. It was framed and signed and celebrated from, I don't know, a noteworthy architect, but this was one that allowed me to be very tight in my rendering style and use some of the line work and coloring that I had invested time when I was looking to be a comic book artist back in my early teens and my 20s. and that was a lot of fun to do. So I don't really get to do, thin lines and stuff within my fine art much, and this is one that got that focus. This is one that Melissa is working on right now to bring into a printed form. This is probably my second or third piece to actually sell. When I first started, we found out that the Star Wars stuff just sells immediately. You can see this Chewbacca is also sold. This was a quite big. It's a fun story. This was I think 24 by 36, like legitimate poster size painting. It was reproduction, but it was done onto canvas. So it had tremendous presence. And I knew it was looking down this kind of winding path that was cutting through the woods. And I knew it had to be Chewie. It reminded me of Endor. This is kind of like part and parcel to a theme that you'll see. I love the Bigfoot mythos, and I love the Patterson-Gimlin videos and the photographic footage and the video footage, early film footage. So I use the pose of the Patterson-Gimlin film in a lot of the work. So here you can see the Gill Man, the creature from the Black Lagoon. You have quite a few times. Here you have Bigfoot himself, twice the Yeti. So that Patterson-Gimlin pose is something that I use quite often. I think it just informs. Here's a gray alien rocking it out as well. It's a subtle thing that I think draws people in because it's so familiar, but at the same time it's so mysterious. So going back to the Chewie, the sketch was a little different, but I added this kind of like he throws his head back when he does his howl, and it's all "Rrr." So he's doing that here, although along with the walk, it added like a very flippant kind of touch to the pose. I think it's just hilarious. And I brought this to a market the first time we had a market in Colombia, and it was with those fake punk rockers. But um, you know the market itself was not as busy as we would have liked. And in the very first day, like almost one of the first groups, a family that came in, an older lady and her husband and their son, maybe, they were like, I hate to say that they looked poor, because I don't necessarily believe in that, but there was an air about them that you could tell, like, they didn't have much, but what they had was very, very tight family unit. And they were strolling around, and I was a little envious of them because they looked so happy and they looked so connected as a family unit. And I was very close to the entrance of the market, and they came in and they went to one or two places, and then the mom like beelined right towards this canvas. And at the time, because it was big and I had sold a few Star Wars paintings before, I priced this one really high. It was like $350 or something, like. And they came over together, and the mom was like, "Oh my God, I love Star Wars and I love Bigfoot." And she was talking to her husband, and they said, "We're gonna look around and we'll come back. And if we don't find anything that we really love, or if we still have, some of our money that we've kind of budgeted to come here, we're going to go home with that painting." And then I didn't see them for the rest of the day. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have priced it as high, or, maybe I should have like just tried to make them a deal right away. But like I said, the market had just opened and I was committed. This is when we're at markets, it's a big investment for us. So I can't always just, give stuff away. So I held back, and I was thinking maybe it would sell to another Star Wars fan. And the first day kind of started and stopped, and then the second day, which was a Sunday, was slower than the first day. And it was pretty much when I had started to break down the booth that I looked up, and they were standing there. And they said, well, we didn't end up really getting anything else, and we want to take the painting home. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy you came back. Like, I wish I had sold it to you in the first day, and, I'd be happy to wrap it up for you, so let's get this done. And I went to offer them a deal because the market was ending, and I thought, a lot of vendors kind of dropped prices on the second day and this and that. And they wouldn't take it. They were like, no, your work is worth what it's worth, and we're going to pay you what it's worth. And they paid me right there on the spot. And it really meant a lot. And it just, telling that story and seeing the piece here, like it's really a proud moment for me, because it's one of those times where somebody who probably had less than I do at the time kind of stepped forward and was like, no, your work is worth what you priced it at, and you priced it at that for a reason. And it was just a tremendous experience. So here it is. We do have this one available in prints, and I hope I see them again someday, and I hope I let them know that it's something that really meant a lot to me. Another Star Wars one. This one is also sold. We do have prints available in this one, but this is a fun little pose that I do repeated as well, where I do mostly villains, and it's like they're welcoming you to their Airbnb. So you'll see it up here in the titles of all these pieces. You have Vader and Jabba, of course. Up here you have Mothman kind of doing the same thing. He's using his wing for the gesture, but it's a really neat series. So you can see the website's really working well. Nothing kind of glitches out. The scrolling arrows work well. Here's a couple Krampus that are two different renderings of him, but always the same little beastie. This is one that was done as a gift for a Christmas present for my wife's best friend back in New York. This is one that I still have. This one's still available. This was the first one that I did, and I was really pleased with the way his kind of Santa-influenced costume came out. It's gray and black instead of red and white and stuff, but I also like the way he's pulling the kid by his hair, or her hair. And this one in the sketch was actually a lot more bloody, but it has its time and place. And Krampus, I feel like, is such a universal holiday theme that blood and guts wasn't the right choice for this one. Let's see. I mean, there's so much to kind of take in. Here's a little peek at the shop. This one works also quite well. You can see here's an image that we took at the Weirdo Market that passed recently of the prints kind of set up on the table, and dynamic perspective with all these angles and stuff. You can see a mix of our 5x7s and our 8x10s. So at the moment there's 21 items available. You can see by rolling over each one you get a zoomed look at it, which turned out tremendous. It was Melissa's idea, of course, and I love the way that they come in an angle. It's almost like they look around the corner, or they get up close to the camera and they're just like staring right into your living room. And it's also nice that you get the zoomed kind of perspective on the artwork, because you can get up close and personal with the brush strokes themselves. Here is the what a product representation looks like. This is the American Werewolf in London, what they call the Kessler Werewolf, which is my in 5x7 at the moment, which is a really great size. It's easy to kind of like find a killer frame, or easy to display if you even want to put it on your refrigerator. It's just not too intrusive. And I freaking loved this painting. It was tiny. It probably 5x7 might even be an enlargement for how big the work was originally. But this was just simply a decadent evening, a dining room somewhere in London or Paris or something, and you have the royals, the whatever the fanciful people sitting around, and the table was just lined with a three-course dinner. There was like fancy silverware and stuff. So in my mind, I just threw the werewolf like he jumped right on the table and started devouring these people. You can see this figure here on the right, next to the werewolf's elbow, is decapitated. I imagine that he took her head off in one fell swoop with his mouth and swallowed it whole. There's a little bit of a neck bone in there. I love that little detail, and you can the blood splatter that I added to the other diners, I think, really pushes it over the top. You can see the woman's face that's all deckled with splatter, and then the gentleman with it's either a bib or a dickie or something back there. And almost nobody seems fazed by the werewolf's presence, so you know it happened quickly, and they're all about to run for the exits, but they're still in a moment of shock. I'll jump back out. So you can use these buttons up here in the top right, previous and next, to kind of scroll through the other art. Or here in the top navigation where it says home, you can click on either home or all products, and it will navigate you back out one level of the website. So over here on the left, you can see that there's some additional categories coming soon. So we're living kind of in the prints right now, but there will be apparel and there will be original artwork. It's just there's nothing up here yet. There's some custom banners, that Java one you can see there. But we'll go back to the prints for now. You can see here, I'll just tweak the camera a little bit. I'm currently photographing and videoing the originals that I have left to list them on the site. I'll have some up later tonight and some up throughout the day tomorrow. Let's find one that's available in both sizes. So this Jason Voorhees, where he's kind of like standing in front of this barn, I believe is available in both 5x7 and 8x10. And the prices here are a direct reflection of what we offer in our market space. And you're getting a lot for that. There's a lot that goes into the reproduction of this artwork, and we're very proud of the quality in both card and backing material that we use. So this is one of our prints. It's on 100-pound cardstock. It's beautifully produced, beautifully printed. You can get right up close to it, and there's no resolution, there's no funkiness or dot gain or anything like that. And then they come kind of sealed up in a poly bag with a cardstock backer, so it's all very rigid and protected when it ships to you. Some people leave them in that, some people choose to frame them. You have all those options, of course. And you can get a load of just about everything. This is a really great one. This is my tribute to the horror version of Winnie the Pooh. The movie is called Blood and Honey. And in its original state, there was only this child here sitting among the trees. And of course, we added Winnie the Pooh. And then you can see all the detail in the blood and gore that was added. So the bucket was there, but I added the drips and the overflow to it. And of course, the knife wasn't there. So it really blended together with the original artwork. I'm pretty proud of that. And the handprint, the bloody handprint on his overalls there, I think it just really nests within the image quite well. This one we have in both sizes available right away. Then you also have some ability to share down here on this bottom navigation. You can share forward from the store itself onto Facebook, Pinterest, and X. So that's pretty much where it stands right now. You can see again there's 21 pieces, 21 prints that are available for immediate purchase on the products page, with more going up in the next few days. And we're ordering more reproductions of some of our greatest, some of our most popular stuff, and some of the brand new stuff right as we speak. So there will be another category up here at the top. There's space for a blog. Since I don't have any content published there yet, it's hidden, but it's coming. It'll be live before next Monday. I'm currently working on a bunch of new content. I have some new time lapses, and if you're a fan of any of that stuff, this is the place where you'll be finding it pretty much from now on. I'll make some noise about it on Instagram, etc., but a lot of the content itself will find its home here. And it will be publishing also to YouTube as well. So again, thanks for popping into the stream and checking it out. So beyond that, and we can circle back if anybody has any questions or has any comments about what's here. I'd love to hear them. You can leave them in the chat messages and I'll go back and look at those. And then in the meantime, let's talk about some current stuff, right? Let me switch over to a different scene here. All right, so that's the website, guys. It's a lot. It was, there's so much content there that all has to be uploaded and intaken and then manicured and then kind of again curated into that form. It's been a lot of work. Melissa, who also has 2 full-time jobs doing production for fashion and high society magazines, she's been doing this kind of like in her wee hours and her overnights and stuff. And to me, the quality really shines through. You can tell that this is done by a professional. It is using an open source website developer called Wix, but there's a lot of customization that's gone into this and design and layout thought. So Melissa, babe, I love you. I can't thank you enough for putting this together. And of course, I will be adding as much fuel to the fire as I can, because it's my favorite thing to look at. And I'm just so proud of it. And I'm so excited to share it with all of our friends and family immediately. Like, it's just such a thrill. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of like feature some of the original work that I still have available. We'll be bringing a ton of it with us to the market on the 22nd of this month, the Witch's Brew Market. Let me see if I can pull up some details about that so we can share them with you here too. I'm typing it out. Yeah. is Facebook. Where's the most recent? Witch's Broom Closet. I'll get it in 1 second here. Sorry. Old man trying to do Facebooky things. Yeah, here we go. Alright, this is a page. I don't know if I'll be able to show you too much about it because I'm not logged in. But this is the Witch's Broom Closet. They're in Pendleton. Their new market is at the Market at the Mill, which is coming up on the 22nd. So you can see it here. And these are just some of the coolest market producers that we've ever met. They have a really well put together team. Now it's going to force me to log in. I'm not going to do it. Well thought out event schedules and just all around professionals. So look for us on March 22nd. We'll be bringing a ton of new artwork out with us, and it's going to be really exciting. You'll be able to get prints on site. We have some new stickers that we're bringing. Yeah, I could show off one of those too. Hang on. That's in the other room. I don't feel like walking all the way out there, but let me show you guys some paintings too. I have right here. This, of course, is, let me get this Christ sticker off here. Keep leaving those on, and sometimes they can damage the work. So this is my baby firefly. She is on an 8x10 stretched canvas. She's rendered in acrylic and some Posca marker for detail. And she can be seen on the website under the portfolio section, and you can see what a tremendous job Melissa did on the production. So, I mean, side by side, of course, you don't get the richness of the black here, but really proud of this one. It has a tremendous, what they call, not chiaroscuro, but in art there's a term for it. There's a twist at her shoulders and a twist at her hips, and then another twist at the ankles. And in the scene in the movie House of a Thousand Corpses that this comes from, she's putting on a vaudevillian kind of sultry dance number, and I think it really comes through. Motion comes through, the hand gestures and things. It's a really great piece in my mind. Let's see what else I have at arm's length here that we'll be bringing out. Yeah, the ICP geese. So this is a fun one. Some scotch. This was a lithograph. It's kind of framed without glass on some type of a panel. And when I first saw this piece, the geese natural markings reminded me of the ICP clown makeup like immediately. So I think they came out really well. I added some very eclectic outlining and things to try and emulate their energy and capture the motion of their stage performance, etc. And of course you have the kind of like irreverent expressions on their faces, to say the least. And then over here you can kind of see on my easel, that's the setup that I'm using at the moment to capture these and make them live eventually. On the site you can see the Slipknot Last Supper is up there. Truly one of my greatest pieces. I can pull up the artwork for that on the website as well. Um, doo-doo-doo. This is a fun one because the original work is in a double frame, and I posted on my Instagram that I was repairing the inner frame recently, so I took the artwork out, and you could still see on the left hand side and on the right hand side the apostles' original robes. This painting and this one of Pinhead that I did over top of a Jesus image. Let me just say that the religious stuff really tickles me to do. It's one of those things that resonates with me because of my Catholic upbringing and my fallout with the Catholic religion eventually before moving to Florida. But these two pieces, maybe I covered too much of the original image. I guess not, but I kind of in the back of my mind wished that I had left a little bit more of the apostles, although on this one you can, when you get close enough, you can actually see their hands and their feet and everything are the original artwork. So, but the Pinhead, I definitely covered him completely. Like there's no Jesus left on that one, and I guess it's only right. But going back to the subject of the market on the 22nd, I really hope everybody that's local to this area can come out because apparently there's a protest organized. I mentioned it in my reel when I was trying to promote and get people out for this stream, but yeah, apparently the Witch's Broom Closet had an event and there was some negative feedback from the community, and the event venue told them that, like, look, we're sorry, but you can't really come back here, you have to find a new venue, which kind of forced them to this new one, which is the Market at the Mill, which is gorgeous, and it's such a upgrade from the previous venue. But this community of closed-minded people is starting to organize against them. So in the market that I was at, where my first market with the Witch's Broom Closet, there were some protesters, and one of them made his way inside to the venue, but it was very small, and it was easy to kind of just brush off. But apparently, they have gone through channels and gotten permits pulled to actively organize and have like a real protest with signs, and apparently there's going to be a police presence to make sure that they're behaving themselves. So guys, we are going full into this one. I mean, you just can't lay on the grass. We're playing soccer, and that's what we're going to do. So we're bringing Lydia. We're going to have signage, we're going to have balloons, we're going to be as big and bold and as creepy as we can be, and we cannot wait to see the reaction from the community because, like, we're just over here, like, I'm just over here baking turnovers and painting pictures. Imagine hating on me, I don't think so. Like, and I come from New Jersey. Like, there's nothing nice about me if push comes to shove. So it's going to be a real hoot. It's going to be a good time. And I hope I can see all of you or some of you or most of you there, because we should support the people that support us. You'll remember from my community podcast a few nights ago, that was kind of the center of the message. And this is putting that into practice in the biggest way that we can. So if you're a vendor, if you're one of our peers, if you're one of our customers, we want to see you guys rally around this event, because closed-minded people in the world right now have too much authority and are making too much noise not to be pushed out, not to be called out, and not to be acted or counteracted. So I'll post the details. Maybe I'll make a little bit of a video trailer in the coming days. We're all about it. We have this here, this new website, as a augment, as an upgrade, as uh, a, a parallel effort to these markets. And it's going to be a living, breathing organism. So when we have things that we're bringing to the market, you'll be able to interact or purchase them or collect them on the website as well. So not just the artwork and the prints, but the things that we bring, like apparel and stickers, and some of the things that you find on our wonderful table of oddities will all find their way to this platform in the near future. So pay attention. I'll be shouting about it every single day on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. So you'll have a lot of embarrassing dancing and things coming from me in the very near future. I just want to say thanks to everybody for popping in. Thanks for everybody for interacting with the stream and your chat messages. Please do all the things. If you feel like you can share this, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Go to the website. It's live right now. You can head there, afterlifestudiosllc.com. There are, of course, tools and things. Please log in and make a profile so you can share and favorite. Once the blog is up, you'll have to do that to interact and comment on there, and there will be all kinds of benefits for doing so. We're talking exclusive content, we're talking exclusive offerings on the site itself, and commissions. So there's going to be fun stuffs coming. Poorly drawn pets, I think that's going to be a thing. Come on back and put your ear to the ground and listen for more. Well, thanks for coming. We appreciate you. While you're here, please do subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots of new content coming very soon. We love you, and we hope you have a good night. It's getting late. Daylight savings time is like still hammering me, but we'll see you in the next one. All right. Thanks, guys.